All right, guys, let's learn to make a culinary staple that you probably made before, but you might not know the name of: slurry. So, what is a slurry? A slurry is a thickening agent that you use for soups, sauces, and most anything that has a liquid to it. And how you make it is you take a cold liquid, typically water, but I've used apple juice, I've used chicken broth, anything that's cold, because this is important. And you just do a 1-for-1 ratio, about, and you just mix it together to where the end comes out something like this. So how it works is it's heat activated, and if you try to take the cornstarch and put it in hot liquid, what's going to happen is going to clump up into the little balls that you're going to have a really hard time getting out. So that's why you have to use a cold liquid with the cornstarch, because when you pour that in, the heat's going to activate it, and that's when it's going to make it thicken. Now, when you are using it to thicken something, make sure that you use a little bit at a time, even on a recipe you're relatively familiar with, because what can happen is if the liquid's not just at the right place in your pot or your pan or whatever you're using, then you're going to put a little bit in, it's not going to thicken as quick as you think it should, and then you're going to put a little bit more in, and it's still not thickened enough, then you're going to put a little bit more in, and eventually what's going to happen is you're going to go too far, and it's going to just become a jello-y sauce, soup, whatever. Now, a slurry has very little flavor, which is one of the reasons why some dishes prefer it. I'm not a big slurry person, but I do recognize that it has a number of uses, and especially uses in Asian cooking. Pretty much all you ever see on that is a slurry. Now, it can be made with flour, but flour, unlike a roux, you don't cook that floury flavor out, so I don't recommend that either, but it can be done in a pinch in case you don't have cornstarch. Now, what's the difference between a slurry and a roux? A roux is made from flour and fat and typically goes through a hot process before it's been added to anything else, and that's to cook out some of the flour flavor while this remains cold. They can both be used. They both have different aspects. They both have different uses. The roux tends to be a little thicker, a little richer, and this tends to be a little more flavor neutral. So depends on what you're looking to add to your dish. But that's an overview of a slurry. Nothing complicated. Like I said, I'm sure you guys at least have seen it if you haven't used it. And if you learned something, make sure you hit the like, share, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. It helps me grow, and I really do appreciate it. And now you know a little bit more. Go out and conquer the kitchen.